This is the Aldora Devlog. Let us begin. Okay, so for the last part of the day, we have been working on quite a few different types of things when it comes towards the game. As a whole, I made the characters interchangeable yesterday with their different types of hairstyles, different hair colours, and different facial expressions. Well, yesterday I actually sat down and I decided, right, the dude needs pants. So the main character needs pants, and what better way is to actually create a base. So for instance, or for example, when you start a new character in like WoW or Final Fantasy, you have a base set gear that you start off with. That's your starting gear, right? And what I actually devised was this lovely piece of set. Now if I pull this into the editor, I can show you guys right now. And pretty much it is a white shirt with some brown pants. These go in tandem with the shoes as well, so we've made shoes, legs and a shirt. This means that we have a base set to go into, and I animated it all. So when the characters are moving around, like the legs will move with the legs and all of that, so we don't have to worry at all in the slightest when it comes towards the character design. These items will actually move with the character as well, because we needed to build a base. Now what I mean by a base is when we're creating any more pieces of gear, that means that we have a reference, and these bases are as close as possible to the character's literal figure. We can use that base in order to actually create more pieces of gear, because then we have an outline that we cannot go into, otherwise we'll be showing the character's arms. So if I wanted to make plate armor, it has to be above that line, so to speak. So that means I can more quickly make more sets of gear, which is pretty cool because I got to make the Aronian armor gear, and because it's animated onto each different frame, I can actually break those up into their groups, which I have done, and then I can use those outlines on those to create the gear much more faster, making a much more faster productive timeline. The next time I revisit, making all of the base sets of gear, because I intend to do it in one massive bulk load, because bulking does tend to work. That means I can make all the shirts in one go, all of the leg pieces in one go, all of the shoes in one go. The only things that need to be done for armor sets is literally the helm and also the shoulder pads. Now long sleeve armor sets, that will require me to redo some editing on that to make a base structure for that one, so I'll do that with the Aronian armor set, as I thought about yesterday after doing this. Doing the setup for something like this takes a long time for the first go, and then once you've got it all set up and you've got all the presets done, it's a much more streamlined to do stuff. Hence why it took me like literal days just to build out the entire city and all the models, because then I just needed a day or two to prep to do that and have everything in place to execute on it. Now for this, I can now execute on armor sets whenever I feel the need to go about. So let's just jump into the game and we can have a look. And judging by this, we've got our characters. They're basically doing their thing, and I'm well chuffed with the results. Just looking into all of this, we'll pull this up into a nice little frame right now, and we can see that the faces have changed, the hair has changed, the hair colors changed, and the base armor set. So then these guys can be all different with everything, and that means that we essentially have the character moving. Now if we turn to the side a little bit, you can just about see the sprites splitting. Because they're obviously sprites, they're going to be flat planes. I'm going to try and get it as close as possible so you can really try and not see that. However, at the end of the day, this is this type of game and it's going to be doing it regardless to all of that, but we want to mitigate that as much as possible. I'm really happy with the starting set, the starting zone set. Remember, you're starting in a village, and just a tattered peasant shirt and peasant shoes and just a general farmer's-esque trousers, yeah, that will do the job. I wanted something really simple to go with as well, and then if we actually jump out of the editor, we get our thing, we can actually see that if we go back in and the characters are all moving around, it actually all moves in tandem with that. So when these guys are actually moving, you can see there's a bit of clipping, which means that I need to do some readjusting towards the animation. I can just see it on the left foot and the right foot, so I need to double check that and make sure that that is all aligned and perfect. However, aside from that, they seem to be working quite well when it comes towards the base shape. But if you look to the side, you can see that it's where they're actually moving. That's where we're seeing it. So we need to be as precise as possible when we get to that. However, I'm really chuffed with the way things are going on this. It's working out quite nicely. The character's looking pretty dang awesome at this moment in time, and all of these new different characters can run around the city and everything. Now, for instance, when it comes towards the game as a whole, I have sat down yesterday and I really thought about what needs to be done. Now, I think I was getting a bit sidetracked when it comes towards the literal clutter. I was getting very overwhelmed with clutter and everything, and I was like, oh, I need to get barrels, I need to get this. And to be quite frank, I probably don't need that. What I really do need at this moment in time is to literally build out the quests. That means building out Yanis's farm, building out the Talendar quest line, and following on to that. I want, for the demo, I want at least, and I told my friend Raul yesterday about this, I want at least 60 quests for the demo. So it gives you a taste of everything. So combat, crafting, mounts, everything. I want to cover at least everything, just even a small portion on the demo, so then you guys have a little bit of a taster for everything, and then I get initial feedback saying this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, and then I can revise, refresh, and then as I build forward, that would just make more sense. In this particular zone, I really need to build out the quest line for tricks. That means you're going to see something monstrous. It's a monstrosity that will be over here, and it's just going to be, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that and all of that jazz. However, I am going to take today to go through the list, rebuild. What I'll probably do is probably work on finishing up the orc encampments for today. That means I've got to build out some base sets for the orcs and do some placement where they're actually meant to be. And we want to finish out a questing area first before we even head over and start working on the next load of quests. So obviously we've got an orc encampment here. We do need a leader to the orcs, which I have decided will be round this corner here, and he's going to be out of the way, and obviously he's going to hit harder and he's going to attack and everything. So that being said, that is the plan for the following parts of the day. The game's filling out quite nicely. However, I really need to start working on quest design. So we've got the base sets for the armor pieces, and we do need to do that attacking animation and everything. However, I want to get all the quests done before I figure out and work out any other different types of things with all of that. So we're going to go in portions, orc camp, then maybe tricks, old smithy, the quests inside the city, everything. So we'll do the quest givers, we'll do all that first because that's the initial content, and then we'll go from there. Other than that, that's pretty much everything for today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.